Remember, once this connects, X out of it. Wait till it connects though.
Okay.
Good. You're live. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the November 1st, 2021 Appointments and Negotiations Committee hybrid meeting. We're here at Town Hall, but welcome to anybody who's joining us via Zoom. I'll call the meeting to order.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Johnson
Here.
and Chair Hamel.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take a minute to approve the minutes from October 18th. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to read those minutes. If there are any questions or revisions, if not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes.
I will second that.
Okay. Councillor Johnson
Yes.
and Chair Hamel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We think we're going to have a short meeting this evening. We only have two agenda items. One is to review staffing vacancies, and I think that most of the vacancies that we have, but for one, I think are alternate vacancies. But we were going to be reviewing a worksheet, but we'll also spend some time talking about the process for appointments, as well as supporting materials that we've been using in the past, just to make sure we want to confirm the process and the stuff that we'll be using going forward. So with that, I think we'll talk about vacancies.
I did receive an email this morning. There is another vacancy on the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
I know that one is in hold.
Right.
But I just wanted you to be aware that Liam Summers has stepped down because he's been very busy with other things and hasn't
Okay.
had time to.
Liam Somers?
Summers, yeah.
Okay, good to know that. I don't think we have an update from Todd on that in terms of the status of the consolidation. Well, we should try to get an idea from him about, we got to set a time frame on it rather than just have it remain open-ended. But I thought, Tori, you spent a lot of time updating this worksheet. I thought we'd spend some time maybe walking through that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple questions as we go, but thank you for all the extra work you put into that. Thank you.
So we have two or three individuals actually that are due for reappointment for the Board of Assessment Review, and we have the second alternate position that is open, and that term would expire in 2022.
So let me just make sure I understand this. So when we say a term expires 2021, these are all calendar year expirations. So
Correct.
December,
Yes.
end of December. So we get a lot of staffing to do
Correct.
as of January 1. Okay, so this is now I remember why it was so busy getting started.
Normally, following the elections, I send out a renewal letter to
Okay.
those who are up for reappointment and ask if they're still interested.
Great,
And I give them a deadline.
great.
And I indicate in the letter that if I do not hear back from them by the deadline, I will take that as indication that they're no longer
Great.
willing to be reappointed.
And what happens generally? Do people, as a rule, sign on?
Oh, yeah, I usually get emails right back. Yeah.
And then, but they're limited to 3 terms, is that it?
No, the
Or
only
no?
ones that are limited to 3 consecutive 3-year terms are the zoning, the planning, the town council,
Okay.
and the school board.
Great. So those were the 3 questions that I had. And Councilor Johnson.
Your what is the deadline? You're gonna, because tomorrow's the election.
Yeah, and I'll probably by Friday, I'll have everything's ready to go.
Yep.
And I usually give them by the, just after Thanksgiving, 1st of December,
okay.
because we try to get everybody in place by the 1st of the year.
Yep.
And that gives us 2 meetings to post the first meeting in December and then to approve the second meeting in
So
December.
we'll know the results of that in the
Mhm.
December meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
So the other thing it seems like it would make sense to do is to just, once we hear from the incumbents right away, to make sure folks are standing by to apply, and I don't know, do we have any sort of backlog of applications so far? The 2 women who have been inquiring about,
The conservation.
right,
Yeah.
and rec advisory, right?
Rec advisory,
Yeah.
that's correct, yes.
Community services and rec advisory, yeah, okay.
And I've checked this morning, I didn't see any new applications.
Okay. All right. So is there anything that we want to, do you want to just walk through these
Sure.
overall?
So the cable committee, that's kind of been a defunct committee for a while. We haven't really done any appointments on that. I think that's another committee that's being looked at. The
Okay.
Coastal Waters and Harbor Committee, we have 2 individuals that are up for, their term is expiring in December. Do you want me to mention who they are or just?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's Mike Slavin and Vincent Cloud.
Right. And Mike's the chair, right, for
Mike is the
Coastal.
current chair.
And
Yeah,
Vinny's the vice.
that's correct.
Right. Okay.
And then on the Community Services Rec Advisory Board, we have Richard Murphy and Jean Marvin.
Okay.
She was just appointed, I believe, this past year
Okay.
as the second alternate. And then we have the Conservation Commission, I believe that's on hold for right now, but we do have an Emily Springer, who's a
Okay.
full voting member for 2021. The Historic Preservation, they have 2 positions, Eric Busher and Michaela Sargent.
Okay.
And the open position is a full voting member also, and I believe that was due to Rowan's resignation.
Okay.
And the Housing Alliance, the same, we actually have 2 people up. It's the same, well, Eric, is it Busher? And Deborah Grew.
Okay.
They're full voting members, and we have 2 full voting positions open.
Okay.
Long Range Planning Committee, Robert.
That's quite a few, right? I mean, you have 4
Yeah.
full voting members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't met for a while.
Wow, okay.
So,
They're
so
giving away
Long
all
Range
their money.
Planning is Robin Saunders. She's the second alternate, and it's 2021.
Okay.
Parks and Conservation Land Board, we have 2, and it's Rachel Hendrickson and Noah Peralt.
Okay.
Personal Appeals Board, Anton Bador and Fred Freilinger. Anton is a full voting member, Fred is a first alternate. Then we have the Pest Management Committee, and I believe that one is also on hold with a possibility of a consolidation with another committee.
Okay.
But they have Marla Zando and Rita Brenton, who I believe co-chair currently that committee.
Okay.
The Planning Board, we have Jennifer Ladd, who's a full voting member, and we actually just appointed Karen Shoup.
Yep.
Her term, that term was up this year, but we extended it for the 3 years because it was so close for.
Okay.
The SEDCO, I've inquired, but I've not heard back.
Okay.
Senior Advisory Board, there's only one position. Carol Spencer, full voting member, 2021. Carol Nelson, first alternate, and then we have an open second alternate position. I'm sorry, that was the one. And then the Shellfish Committee, we have Paul Erickson and Matthew Passler. They're both full voting members. The Sustainability Committee, we have Ron Allen, Rick Meinking, and David Kirsten, which they're all full voting members. Transportation is Alan Paul, a full voting member. Jennifer Ladd is the resident representative, and Stephen Berg is the business representative. Then we have Zoning Board of Appeals. We have Christine Snow, who was just appointed, but we put her through till 2024 because that term is expiring in 2021.
Okay.
And then Peter Freilinger is a full voting member with a term expiring this year. And then the open is a second alternate position with 2022 expiration date.
So I had 2 things I was going to ask about. One, when we have chairs and vice chairs, can we designate them in this column? So
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
And that usually changes the beginning of each year.
They-
So I mentioned that Marla and Rita.
Okay. And then I guess, is it reasonable to assume that Fred Freilinger is related to Peter or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, not that it would matter, but I just, not that common a name.
Right.
Not like Molten, or Plow or Scarborough names, Avery Johnson.
Right.
Thanks, Tony. That's great. That's a great running list. We got our work cut out for us. I'd forgotten this thing goes off to a mad dash. So great. Thank you. Ken, Councilor Johnson, any thoughts, comments, questions?
Not really at this time.
Okay.
I think we'll have plenty to review on in December after we get the results back of the interest survey.
So how quickly can we staff the committees? Because from a council standpoint, that's going to take one
Was-
meeting?
Well, it's gonna take the posting like we normally
Right.
do, and then approval at the
Right.
following meeting.
But I mean, in terms of post-election for the town council,
Oh,
our own, like who's going to be
who's gonna be on?
chairing
Yeah.
committees?
It depends on who the chair is and how soon they make the appointment to
Right.
those
But that might
positions.
not happen in one meeting. That could take a meeting or two. Normally, we ask for preferences, right? So,
Correct.
so.
So it could be the first meeting, say their council appointments are made on the first meeting in December.
I see.
Just,
Yeah.
and then the meeting can be held for the.
Right after that.
Yeah, so it would be like the first meeting in January
Okay.
that they would be full.
Yeah, could you repeat that? So the new counselor coming in will be seated in the first week of December, the first meeting of December?
Yes,
Okay. So
And-
that's
Yeah.
probably the time to do it then.
and
But
by
then,
then, it's actually the second meeting following the election. So say there's a special meeting, then
That
that's,
counts?
that counts as a, yes.
but
So
then
if you-
there's a meeting after the council is named. There's the council.
So it's actually the second meeting in
appointees,
November.
Right, okay, or
It would be the second meeting in November, because the council's gonna ratify the results on Wednesday night.
Right.
So that second, which is the first meeting after the election, so the second meeting would be
we'll name the team,
November.
right? Chair, vice chair, but we won't have committees assigned yet.
And then
Right,
we have
because
another,
after that is when the
Right.
committee is.
They just ask the preferences and then this is for council appointees.
So how are we scheduled right now? Do we know for November? I know we're
it's
on
November.
the 3rd.
Mhm.
Do we have anything on the calendar beyond that for November
For this committee,
for the council?
oh, the council,
It's in third
first.
Wednesday of November, right before Thanksgiving, right? We have a meeting.
Okay.
so that, the new elected official will be sworn in then.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah,
Hold on to your
so, and then depending on who the chair is, I'm just making this assumption. I'm believing the counselors are gonna already know what committees they would like.
Well, yeah, it's not a huge change in terms of the
Right.
overall composition. We're adding a new
Right,
counselor, otherwise it's fairly stable compared to prior years. It was a big change.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have some idea. Like I have an idea which ones I'd like to do, so. That's a short list. So,
Yeah, there may be a shift in chairs of
Yeah,
certain committees. Right.
Yeah. okay, great. This is great work. Having it all on one slide like this is great. Thank you, Toby, for all that work. And so there's really no action item here, nothing to vote on, right? It's just sort of we're looking at the tools. So with that theme, I think we just turn to the next item, and that's the flow chart. We've done this. It's just a little old, but there should be the appointments and negotiations committee process. It's a PDF file with those. And I can't swear to the accuracy of the symbols, the smooth ovals or the rectangles or the other ones there.
It's left to right, yeah.
It is left to right. So maybe we just walk through this, but so we get open position, then we identify and recommend applicants. I tried to reflect this in terms of how we're currently operating, because Tody's really stepped up in terms of doing the worksheet and, getting applicants lined up. And so Tody, you're on point for that, with the committee members and others as appropriate. And then we develop the worksheet, which we just reviewed, and we'd be reviewing that in our meeting for staff.
and I do make the committee chairs and the staff liaison aware of applicants that we receive.
Great.
So they have reviewed it and they've given feedback.
Great, thanks for doing that. This all happens sort of without people acknowledging it or recognizing it. So there's a fair amount of work there that we really need to make sure the public and the council knows. And a lot of that is driven by Tody. So thank you, Tody. So then we review the appointments, with the chair. So that's there. And then we confirm the appointments with candidates. So obviously they would, they tell us. I don't think very rare if we have somebody drop out, right?
Yeah, we don't.
I mean, we had some folks leave after they started meeting, a meeting or two, but unless they really know what they've gotten themselves into, but that also is pretty rare.
Right, that is
Yeah.
very rare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we just review the appointments in committee, like we're meeting now, and then we do the first read into the record, and that's not even a written posting required. Sometimes we just do that orally, right? And then second reading, that one is the one that's written.
In the record,
Yeah.
yes. So actually, when you post the names at the meeting, I do put them in the minutes.
Yep.
And I do notify the applicants when this committee is going to be making their recommendation to the council.
Great.
So I indicate in the email that it is a two-step process,
Yeah.
that the first is posted, and then the second it's approved, and then they'll hear back from me along with the chair or the staff liaison. And I'll indicate they have to come in and be sworn in before.
And then they go to the first meeting. Off they go, right?
Right.
Great.
They go.
Terrific. Any comments, questions? Oh, we never really, this was in my head, and we never really kind of put it on paper, so at least it gives us
good.
something to follow.
So I have a question
Go
back to the outreach of the existing members.
Mhm.
Where in that process do you reach out to maybe our most recent residence committees? Because I do believe there's 18 people that just served on
They
committees.
should have, I'll tell you, they'll get an email from me.
Just saying, hey,
We have these,
you've served,
Mhm.
or are you interested in?
Right.
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So those are really the two agenda items, are to review these materials in the process, and we'll jump right into it. I'm assuming then that, in the December meeting, we'll have a December meeting. But I don't know, we may not know what we need to know by then, right? I mean, it could still be, it'll still be us, right? I mean, I don't think we're gonna reappoint maybe we have a new member by then? We could have a new.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna request staying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I
I
do
would
too,
think we'd do
so,
the same.
yeah.
Just need a new member.
That'd be good to kind of, I think, hit the ground running, get someone plugged in and off we go. If there's a way for us
Those
to
that
do it.
we could probably have a majority of individuals say yes,
Right.
and
That'd be great to do it in like a fell swoop, one big sweep,
Right.
Because I remember the first time I went through this, and, I had a steep learning curve, so, but I remember we went in well into February, by the time we had staffed everything. It really,
a lot of times in the past, when there's a vacancy that comes up during the year, and I think we went through that maybe the first year, we fill the vacancy then. If we had the applications, we review them and fill them. But the bulk of the work is like now,
Okay.
from until the end of the
Okay.
end of the year. We do have a few committees that I need to touch base with some of their members. They haven't been attending, so.
Yeah.
And there is a procedure in place for the council to take action on that.
Great.
So,
any other questions or comments about maybe what we ought to do? There was one thought I had, but I don't know if there's anything anyone else wants to bring up. But this stuff is pretty well grooved. We're tightening it up. Anything further? Anything we're missing here?
Not from my perspective. Again, I think the very next meeting, we'll have the meat of what's in front of us.
Great.
I find the longer you give people to respond,
Yeah.
they don't. That's why I give them a short window to.
Deadlines are a good motivator. They really are. So the only thing I thought is that we haven't really done this, and Betsy had touched on this sort of, onboarding or, orienting people. I think a lot of that happens sort of in committee. I'm wondering though, is there something that we need to do in terms of trying to evaluate committee effectiveness? I know we've addressed attendance issues. We spent some time talking about that this year.
Wasn't there discussion at one of the meetings where the committee was thinking about bringing in some new members?
New members,
to
see how
get a
it went.
Yes.
Right.
Get some feedback.
Right.
Or
Like to invite
invite or reach out to
members from
them and-
committees to sit in with us or to watch this? Is that the idea? Or have them report out on what's happening with their committee, or, these things are working, these things are not, that kind of thing. I mean, I don't want to build a lot of process or
Right.
bureaucracy into it, but I think we tend to address issues when they arise. I don't think, we don't have any methodology to kind of do this on a recurrent basis. So, I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, but, you know, our main job is to make sure we've got good candidates and that the committees are fully staffed and functioning.
And I think Allison does an amazing job
Yeah.
getting everything
Yeah.
out there and everything is so clean and
Yeah.
very on point.
That has helped incredibly.
Yes.
It's really just made a lot of things much easier, so.
I touched base with her about getting the election results out tomorrow.
Oh, great. I understand there's a party to count, right? What is that? And when do you review the results? As soon as you
We
have it
close
counted,
it
right?
as soon as we can. We close the polls at 8, and as soon as the tallies are running, our teams are together.
Any estimate of?
I'm
when the
hoping we're
count-
out of there by 10.
Oh, wow. And it's here, right? You do it here?
No, it's at the high school.
Oh,
At the
okay.
high school, you do everything right
Everything
there?
at the high school.
Oh, great.
Now, Saturday, we did early processing of absentees, and we had one observer. And she asked some good questions.
Yeah. Great.
It's a process.
So why don't we take a moment to talk about agenda items for next meeting? We'd mentioned we're going to start staffing positions, so we'll do that. Anything further?
That in itself could be.
Well, that'd be enough, right?
Yeah, it could be meaty.
Okay, so we'll stay with that. And
We could maybe think about doing a leader article too for candidates if
great
needed.
idea.
If needed, so.
That's a great idea. Those things are really helpful generating interest, those articles.
And there's nobody in the public.
Okay. Well, we said we'd do this in less than 30 minutes and we're going to hit that, so.
So you want to entertain a motion to adjourn?
Be very happy to do that.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, and I will second that.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Chair Hamel?
Yes,
Thank you.
we keep going, well, we won't be meeting at all.